Hey, how's it going? My name's Clarence. The channel you're watching is Alien Meatballs, and this channel is all about board games with a pretty heavy focus on solo board gaming. And yeah, I play a lot of solo board games, and so I kind of miss the itch to talk about them sometimes. My family only wants to hear me talk about board games so much, and some of the solo games I play don't appeal to them as much as the games that I play with them. But yeah. So, anyways, that's what this channel is about. Really, just I like to talk about games, and I want to share them with y'all. And I super appreciate all the support that I've gotten so far. All the likes and subscriptions and comments. That really helps the channel. YouTube likes to see those things to keep showing the videos. But yeah, so if you like this video, please like it. If you want YouTube to show you my videos, if you hit subscribe, and if you have any recommendations for the next game that I do, if you would please comment that and let me know. And also if you like the super short format that I've done a couple of, or if you like more of like what this one is going to be, which is a little bit more just talking about it, a little bigger breakdown. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you want to see, and I'd love to hear the suggestions. Today's video is we're going to look at Marvel Dagger. Marvel Dagger is by Fantasy Flights. It's for 1 to 5 players, and it's designed by Dane Beltrami. And so in Marvel Dagger, I've played it a couple times, and I've played it solo. But in solo, you're controlling a couple characters. You could control more, but I played it, controlling 2 characters. So essentially, it's the same as a multiplayer game. Anyways, there's no different rules for solo, but controlling it with 2 characters is super easy, no big deal. But yeah, so the basic idea of this game is you are going to control a couple superheroes, and there's going to be a main villain, and then there will be little minions. The villain has his monsters that are running, or like his enemies that are running around. There's like rank 1, 2, and 3 enemies, and then each villain will have like their special enemy that's gonna play in there. So the game is super variable. You can mix all those things together, and it's gonna be a little different. And then you have mission cards and objectives you're going to be trying to accomplish before the villain accomplishes theirs. Pretty standard stuff. None of that is like doing anything crazy different, but there are some cool things. So essentially, like when you're playing the game, there's a big world map, so you're zoomed out and you're moving from these different regions as you move around the board. And so you're going to have objectives that are sending you you're going to be moving around trying to go to different places. You'll be fighting monsters and essentially trying to complete those objective cards. So what's unique now, and what I like, is that so the way that you do your actions is you have move, fight, defy, and rest, and then each of those actions has 2 little spots, and then you have your little tokens. So when you play solo, you'll have 4 tokens. These are like your action tokens for each character. I believe if you're not playing solo or maybe 2-player, then you only have 3 of those. So you have 3 little like action tokens, and you'll place it on the one. So like within a round, you can fight twice, or you can move twice, but you get to do 4 different things and mix it up, or rest. And so you can only do each kind of action twice, and then one of your little tokens is a boosted token. And so depending on your character, some of your actions might have a boosted effect, meaning so if you play your boosted token on that, which you'll get 1 per round, it's going to be like a much stronger version of that action. And so it is cool and fun thinking about like within a round, you'll be looking at your 4 actions and thinking, okay, so I'm going to want to move here, there. I want you got to decide what your most powerful action is going to be during that round, whether you're going to fight or whether you're going to go to one of the missions and try to defy it. That's where the defying comes in. It's like defy the villains' things that they're trying to do, or go to a spot and defy and handle some of like the side quests or the missions. And so it's pretty cool. And then aside from those main actions that you have, each character has like their profile card that also has some special actions that are not just generic like move and fight. They'll have their own special thing related to that character. Some, so it's really cool. And so you have these different actions. It's always going to feel a little bit different, and the hero that you pick, they feel like those heroes. And so when you pick a hero, you're picking your heroes. So you pick like Captain America, you'll have his card, and then you'll pick like I forget what they call it, but like a class, but it's like going to be like justice or strength, or like whatever your character's kind of really good at. Maybe they're like very vigilant, or really like to just go and be aggressive. So you'll pick that kind, and then you blend them together, and then that's how you get your actions that you'll be able to do. But yeah, so in general, that's what you'll be doing from round to round, is using that little action selection mechanism to move around and try to do these objectives. And then so there's a threat track, and at the end of every round, that threat track is going to keep going up, and so you have this timer going on. And so you'll have you basically have 4 mission cards to try to get through to win the game. The first one is going to be, there's like a deck of, it's like a first strike card. You'll always start with like 1 of 6 of those, but then the next 3 are related to whatever villain that you're playing against. And so you'll be trying to accomplish whatever card is on top of that deck. You start with your first strike. You try to handle whatever it's asking you to do before that threat track fills up. Now, say the threat track does fill up and you don't accomplish your card yet. Well, then the first strike, I actually don't remember. I don't know if it happened. I never failed that one, but your 3 main objectives after that first strike kind of like gets the game started. But your 3 main ones, so you have 3 like nemesis, whatever nemesis you're fighting against. They have their 3 mission cards. When you finish one, whether you lost or whether you won, you flip that card over, and it's either going to give you like a bonus or a penalty. That is, you save it, you slide it in at the top of the board, and once you get through all 3 of those, win or lose, it doesn't matter, you just keep going forward. The nemesis, you're going to go into a final showdown. You flip the nemesis profile card over, and it has like special little rules for a final showdown. And then those mission cards are either going to help you or hurt you when it comes to the end of the game. And so that's pretty cool. I like how it just keeps going forward. It's not like you don't just like lose if you can't do one. You're going to make it to that final showdown, but you'll either be hindered or helped. And yeah, so it works pretty well. It plays pretty fast. When I first started, it was like moving kind of slow, but once I had the rules down, like, and actually it goes kind of quick. The missions go kind of like each card goes pretty fast. So it felt like it played at a pretty quick pace. I feel like I could knock it out in like maybe an hour or something solo if I'm, not sitting there overthinking everything. And yeah, there's quite a bit of variety. I think there's like, I don't remember exactly, like maybe 10 different heroes you could pick out of. It's all standees, but it's cool. It's nice artwork. So when you are actually fighting enemies, it is done through dice rolls. And so like if you're going to go fight an enemy, you're going to probably want to take your hero that has better strength. So based on their stats, you'll get to roll more dice or less dice. And then you're looking for the attack symbol or the defy symbol. So that's basically how that works. So it is, luck based, but there's also wild symbols. And but it plays out pretty fun. So if you don't like luck, you're not gonna. That's what kind of game it is. But to me, I love that stuff because everything doesn't always go to plan. So that it's very thematic, and I like thematic games. When I go and get into a fight, I could plan everything out as perfect as I want. But if you live in the same world I live in, things just don't go as planned. So it feels way better when it does too. Things work out and you get that awesome smash. And like these, so like when that's fighting, when you're moving, it's pretty simple. You're just gonna move a space or like an adjacent area. You're just following the lines on the board. It's cool because like when I was Captain Marvel, I think it was Captain Marvel. She was able to like fly a couple spaces. One of them could like move a couple spaces just regularly. They're just like a little bit faster. They're flying and stuff. I think it was her. And I remember Thor, when I played as him, one of his special abilities or cards, I think it was his card, is he had his hammer, and you can go fly to anywhere on the map. So that felt really cool. And I don't remember if it was that same action or another one, but you could fly to any space, or to one of the spaces like three spots away. You could go. It felt like you were going pretty far, and when you landed, you do damage to every enemy in that spot. And so it felt like there is uniqueness to the different heroes. That part feels pretty cool. And then each of your characters have their own little support cards that are unique to them as well. And so while you're playing, you can get progress on the. You start off with one available to you, but like they're one-time things, at least as far as I saw so far. You have to get progress on them, and then to activate them, and then once you use it, they flip back over. You gotta get progress on them again. And but it's cool. So you always have these things that you're working towards and different things to look at, and you just can't do all the stuff that you want to do, but the stuff you are doing is pretty fun. Another thing, and to me, this is one of my favorite things in games like this, is that some of the locations are bases, and you can actually interact with like those bases. So like if you come over to this base, you can interact with it and do 1 damage to any of the enemies out there. Or this other base lets you empower your heroes. This other base lets you prime an enemy. And so there's a mechanic of empowering your heroes and priming enemies that a lot of actions will work with. So there's this like combo-y feel. If you can prime an enemy, then this other hero might have a special ability that lets them do a really cool thing to primed enemies. So there's this, it really encourages teamwork and comboing up to feel stronger. If you're not doing that kind of stuff, you might feel a little bit more regular, like less hero-y. But there are ways to feel like heroes. Ultimately, it's pretty cool. The main way I would sum this up, and I don't want to like minimize it, but I think this does pretty good, is like picture a game of Pandemic, and but make the action selection way more interesting, make the objectives and missions you're trying to accomplish way more interesting, and then you're in the Marvel universe. So if that sounds fun, you're probably going to like this game. It's not really doing anything to innovate board games, but in a way it kind of is, the way because it's mixing. I haven't played a game that's quite like this, so I'm glad to have it. It's pretty fun. I definitely want to try out the other heroes, and it's Fantasy Flight. I'm sure they're going to come out with all kinds of expansions for it. The production is nice, the artwork's fun, and so there's 4 enemies, 3 or 4. I think it's Red Skull, Thanos, Loki, and Ultron. The standard ones that you end up fighting in these games. But yeah, it's a cool game. I like it. I don't know that I'm gonna like highly recommend it. I think it's situational towards how much you like Marvel and what your collection is. If someone doesn't have a lot of games or any games that are like that Pandemic, where you're a certain amount of actions and trying to put out fires, well, yeah, I think everybody should have a game kind of like that if you like those kind of games. But if you have 5 games that are like that, then unless you like Marvel, maybe you wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna, hopefully the way I've broken down will help you decide if you need or want this one in your collection. But it definitely stands on its own aside from Pandemic. So I hope I didn't make it's way more interesting than Pandemic if you take Pandemic as the core. But yeah, super cool. So that's Marvel Dagger by Fantasy Flight, and I look forward to seeing what they build up on it. I'm sure they could do so many things. As one more final thought that just made me think of is like, because of all the different like cards and your actions and how it's modular between connecting your heroes and then all your mission cards, it's kind of a lot. Like, the rules are really pretty easy, but it's a lot of things. So like, it can be a little overwhelming at first, all the different things that you can do. And you just got to go into it with that mindset. I guess you could call it like a little bit fiddly with all the little like all that stuff. But what that also means is, as you learn the game and that stuff becomes a little bit more second nature, then it's a really fun game because there's a lot of things to keep your brain busy and things to play with and levers to pull. And I probably haven't even got close to doing all the combos you can do. I know I haven't, because I saw some things I was like, oh man, if you could like prime that enemy, but have this available support card, like you could do some cool stuff. So yeah, I would recommend for sure trying to play it if you know someone that has it. I think it's a good game, and maybe, I don't know how it plays with like higher player counts. It might take a while, but solo I can knock it out fairly quickly. But there's a decent setup, getting all your decks and cards ready. But yeah, Marvel Dagger, thanks so much for checking out the channel. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this. And again, if you throw down in the comments what other games you want to hear me talk about, and if you like this format or the my super short format. I don't know if you've seen those videos, but they're really, I just kind of do them really quick, almost like a commercial, and try to give you a lot of information really fast. So yeah, the more you let me know, the more I'll know what you guys actually like seeing. But until the next one, see you later. Thanks for checking it out. Bye.